Today we have a Finalmouse Air 58 with a broken click. It's also got some Gamer Gunk that we're going to clean out. And it also showed up with a third-party scroll wheel, which I actually think looks pretty good. This click does not even click at all. Nothing happens. Here we got standard disassembly, nothing special. And look at where this switch is supposed to be. Half of it's missing. Does not look good. Obviously, that's the problem. Inside the mouse a little dusty. The scroll wheel fits fine, works fine. Tip to getting these out is just pull on the white part. Bend slightly away from the clips. Wiggle, pull. Do not pull the wires, just pull on the plastic. Time to give this baby a bath. It's literally just water and a little brush. That's it. Just go in all directions to get the Gamer Gunk out of all the holes. Just brush it in circles. It'll get everything out. The red part of the shell has a coating, and you don't want to go crazy with that. The brush has soft bristles. So a toothbrush or something works good. Do not use anything super hard, especially don't use the green side of a sponge. I'm gonna pat this guy dry, set it over on the top of my dehumidifier, and we're good to go. Here I'm doing a scroll wheel mod that I invented called put a thin piece of silicone tubing on the part that presses the actual click for the scroll wheel. This should help prevent the scroll wheel issue in these mice. Not sure if it's necessary on the aftermarket wheel, but we might as well do it. The little ball end on the wheel that goes into the encoder should actually help prevent cracking as well, but this can't hurt. Just put the tubing on, clip it, and you're good. Just make sure that it clears the piece of the shell that holds the wheel in place. That's why I'm not going all the way to the middle. Just makes it a little bit thicker so it doesn't have to move as far when clicking. Time for the switches. Here I'm just finding a pair of zippy switches that feel about the same. I don't go crazy trying to find a match pair. I find a pair that feels fine together. I feel like I would drive myself crazy trying to actually get a perfect pair. Adding some of my own solder to the factory solder, which helps get the switches out for some reason. I think it just holds the heat a little bit better. And this is the method that I found from Turbo Bitbox, where you use the chisel tip to kind of do 2 at a time and kind of go back and forth. It works better the faster you go, I found, so go a little bit faster than I'm going here and it should just pop right out. See? And here's that extremely broken switch. It's missing the top housing and top half of the switch itself. I've used a solder sucker to remove the solder from the bottom 2 holes. I then heat up the solder for the top hole, slide the switch in, add the solder, line it up, get it flush, and then you're good. Also, don't do it with your hand here, you're gonna burn yourself. Again, don't do this in your hands. Use the helping hands or use the roll of electric tape or something so that you don't burn yourself. Don't do it like this. Here I'm just working to get the switch flush. You want it to be pressed as far down onto the PCB as possible so that the clicks feel normal. If it's sticking up a little bit, the click is going to feel horrendous. Here I'm going to heat up the solder pads and just press the PCB onto the electric tape, which should push the switch flush into the PCB. And this is the other switch. So same thing, remove some of the solder. It came cleanly out of all 3 holes, which made it easy to press the switch back in and just solder it like normal. The other side gave me problems. So I'm just pressing the switch in here, getting it flush. Pretty standard resoldering procedure. Adding solder to the pins, pressing it in with the roll of electric tape, making sure they're flush. That's pretty much it. And inspecting the work, not just for vanity, but to actually make sure the switches are flush, everything looks good, no issues with the solder. Looks good to me. Here I'm just brushing off some of the flux to make it look better. No real impact on anything, but it just looks cleaner. And time to put the whole thing back together. I reassembled the mouse and went and tested it on a computer, and in my testing I noticed that the side buttons felt really loose, which felt terrible. I'm definitely not going to send a mouse back with my name on it like that, so time to take it apart and fix that wobbly side buttons. Clicks felt good though. All I did was put one layer of electric tape where the side buttons are held into the shell, and that made them feel super solid. Buttons feel solid. Time for the mouse feet, and we're basically done. Just alcohol, wipe that, dry it off, put the feet on. All done. Fix the side buttons, fix the main click, put on some core pads, clean the Gamer Gunk out of it, and it's back to the customer. I put in zippy DF3 P1s because the customer wanted something as close to stock as possible. And little bonus tip if you're soldering yourself, take an old USB cable and an old fan, cut and strip the wires, red to red, black to black, tape it up, plug it in, and you've got a little fume extractor to keep that lead solder out of your lungs. And that's it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Like and sub. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.